up, y'all? It's Maya, executive chef of Codetta Bake Shop, and we're here at Ground 3 Media, rocking with Mike on the mic.
Yo, what it do, family? It's your favorite host, Mike on the mic, from the Vibe Perspective Podcast. Tapped in with my guys at Ground 3 Radio, DJ OK. And we back at it again for another Vibe Style Wednesday and another series of interviews. Shout out to each and every one of my listeners tonight. Make sure you take the time to like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video, man. We work super hard on these videos, man. I can't work hard enough for y'all guys, man. I love all the energy, love all the quotes in the comments. I love all the things y'all like and dislike about the video, because that's really good for me. That helps the algorithm, and it helps me improve my process for editing, and I appreciate every single word y'all leave under the videos. Make sure you take the time to do all like I just said, and call in at 443-377-1872. Again, that number is 443-377-1872. Man, we got an incredible guest in the building, a musician, a creative, a specialist in cheesecakes, ice cream, macaroons, cakes, cupcakes, dip fruit, brownie bites, puff pastries, Irish soda bread, creme brulee, and anything sweet you can think of, man. A person who lives by the quote, lives so that your death brings no pleasure to the world. Founder and executive chef of Codetta Bake Shop, Sumayyah Bilal is in the building. What up?
What's up, Mike? Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to have you in front of me, man. I'm so glad we finally made this happen.
Me too. It's been a minute.
No, for sure. Definitely a long time coming. For all my listeners who want to learn more about some of the things she got going on and some of the things she's working on, make sure you go over at Codetta Bake Shop. That is at CODETTA BAKESHOP on IG as we go through the interview, so you can match the work to the woman herself. And you're here. We finally doing this now.
Yes.
Now it started.
Yes, we lit. I'm here. We ready.
We are lit. Let's deep dive right into it. And like everybody I respect. This is so funny because now I'm thinking about my process and thinking about like sitting in front of people and really going into their lives. It's probably difficult to do. Like, as the person who's getting like read, like it's probably difficult to sit in the spot and hear your life back to you. I feel sorry for you, but like it's on the way.
Like you said, Irish soda bread. Like, I made that once for a coworker at the beginning of COVID. Like, how did you?
Tell me how I know that. I don't know.
Crazy.
I don't know. I work hard. We work hard on it. So I got to start from the beginning.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I was a zygote.
Yeah, you were. You absolutely were. I think we all were.
Hopefully.
So you moved around a lot as a kid.
Yes.
And you grew up alongside your brother, Khalid.
Yes.
Who you both were, I think, the two youngest of 8 in your generation?
Yes.
Yeah. So I do want to start there. You're not originally born in Baltimore, but you're like of Baltimore.
Yes.
You're, and I think that's what you
that's
say.
That's what I like to say. I'm not from Baltimore, but I'm of Baltimore. This is crazy already.
For sure. I'm glad you're meeting your expectations.
Yes.
But a lot of your family is from Baltimore, you know, and I think your dad is from New York.
Yes.
How was it like?
Don't tell me his address.
This is where you come in. So, I mean, like, how was it like sort of moving around and, going place to place as a kid and seeing new things a lot?
Yeah, honestly, it was really cool. Like, I definitely think that contributed to my worldview. You know, like it's funny because growing up, we always had friends that were like, oh yeah, I lived in the same house my whole life. Yeah. And me and my brother would be like, dang, that must be nice. But then other kids would say that, I was like, oh, you lived this place and that place and you went here and there.
Yeah,
and they'd be like, dang, that must be nice. So that I came to appreciate that a whole lot. And then especially when we lived in the Philippines for a year when I was a kid, as you know, probably. And that, like, because I was 11 when we moved there. I just lived there for a year, but it was such a formative experience for, living in a third world country. Yeah. Having that experience and then coming back,
Yeah,
for sure. Later, like seeing how other people around the world live. So it just contextualized a whole bunch. So yeah, I mean, I definitely think the uniqueness of my upbringing is, kind of what makes me who I am.
Yeah, for sure. I think, and I always say in my interviews, like, I think we sometimes take for granted the individual experiences we've had, especially as kids, right? Like, a lot of things happen when you're a kid, like things are moving past you, people are growing, things are leaving, coming in your life, and then it's like, I think we very seldom, I guess, appreciate what happens in the moment until we get older and we realize how much it's impacted us. Definitely. And speaking of things that impacted you, I mean, I want to talk about sort of, you started baking around 8 years old, right? And I think that was the same year you started piano too, right? And cheesecake, man. It's crazy. I'm so grateful that you brought a slice of your cheesecake.
I had to
because I am.
I'm gonna come here and not bring it.
I'm exhaustive in my research. I just want you to know. And
it makes you hungry.
It made me starve myself last night. I was like last night, just alone. Not even the other days, but like last night specifically. I was telling my girlfriend, I was like, man, like I need to eat something. Like I'm starving looking at all of this delicious like food. Like, but
that is the intended.
That is 100%. You did your job. But cheesecake kind of started it all, right?
Yes.
Like, and I think that's your favorite, practically your favorite dessert, like ever.
Number one.
Number one, right? Like, but it's funny because I think, if I'm not wrong, like
you haven't been so far.
Like the first time you made cheesecake, it was actually a sweet cream cheese pie.
Yes.
And I think you were like 9-ish.
Yes.
And it was in the microwave. It was in the microwave. And I think you made it for family, and they loved it, right? Yeah. And I think, we talk about these experiences that build us, right? Like
that was definitely one.
That was kind of, I think, to me, look, it seems like the catalyst that really kicked all of this off. And if I'm also not mistaken, like your culinary influence comes from like your mom, right? Like who like she was. I mean, moms are always the greatest cooks in our lives. I mean, who's going to disagree with that? But like, sort of that passing down, like you being able to eat all of this food and this delicious, whatever your mom makes is going to be delicious, and that parts something into you. Yeah,
definitely. And she encouraged us to explore in the kitchen. Like I had to make that first thing in the microwave because we were too little to use the stove. We weren't allowed to use the stove till we were like 10. Yeah. But she bought us a microwave cookbook so that we could explore. We were latchkey kids, me and Khaled. Yeah. So we'd just be home after school, and if we weren't we used to just be eating snacks and playing video games and stuff like that.
The life.
Right. You're kids. You go outside, throw a ball around, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, she saw that. I mean, I literally used to read cookbooks, just that sounds good. There's no pictures in it. It's like the joy of cooking. I'm just reading the joy of cooking, and thinking that sounds really good.
That's dope.
And so she, I love experimenting in the kitchen. Also, my oldest sister, Keela, she's an amazing cook too. Like the two of us, undisputed, are the best cooks in the family. Like no one is questioning that at all. I'm a better baker than savory cook, and she's a better savory cook than baker. But
perfect match there.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
And so she, growing up, she's my oldest sister, and she was kind of there's a 17-year age gap between the two of us. So she was kind of like a second mom-ish to me and Khaled growing up. Yeah. So yeah, she was definitely a huge culinary influence on me too. When I was growing up, and between her and my mom, they both encouraged me to experiment and just kind of wild out in the kitchen.
Yeah. It
was really great. But yeah, when I made that microwave cheesecake in the pie
sounds
crust.
Fire. I'm just saying, it sounds fire.
No, it was good. I remember the taste of it. But what the best part about that experience, the most formative part about that experience was when I gave it to my family, and they were like, "This is really good, Sumayyah." Really? Y'all like it? And that feeling of giving somebody something that they really truly enjoy, that's what hooked me on baking and cooking for others. So.
Yeah, for sure. That's dope.
That was it.
That's super formative, I think.
Yes.
Formative. And it's so interesting that, July 30th is National Cheesecake Day. I think we're perfectly timed for this, right?
Yes.
We're going right into probably the biggest holiday for you in terms of your business. This is a big deal. To everybody else, it's just a day about cake.
Right.
But to you, this is
for us. I love this day. Actually, when we first started doing our National Cheesecake Day promotion, I was I don't want it to be too crazy. This was in 2020. We were still
which we'll get to.
We'll get to. We were small potatoes back then, so we actually do a crazy discount. A crazy sale on cheesecakes. You can place the order for any time in the future. So that's the sale that we usually run on National Cheesecake Day. So we'll probably do. Yeah, be on the lookout.
Hint.
Wink,
I'm looking at you.
Right. And you. And
all of y'all.
And all of you.
And the one behind you too.
And your mom too.
So I want to move forward just a little bit in terms of, you started marching band in high school.
Yes.
Furthering your pursuit for music, and you never looked back after that, right? you spent some time with like the Reading Buccaneers.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? As a drum major, no less.
Yes.
And I think if I'm recalling a particular year, like 2013, you were there as well.
Yeah.
And I think you won first place at the Drum Corps Associates World Championships.
Yeah.
Higher, faster, stronger.
Yes.
And I thought that was like, super dope because I think there's always these multi-layered like versions of ourselves that build the person that everyone knows. Like you see a person, you see me, you see you, like you see someone who's great in their craft. And I think you may or may not see maybe 3 or 4 layers in, but there's like 6 or 7, maybe 10, 20 layers of who that person is. And just like we talked about those formative moments, like being a drum major is like a pretty big responsibility. Like I went to HBCU. I'm not gonna lie, I pray for them because like I don't have the heart to do that. Like that's a huge responsibility. So talk about sort of that time.
Yeah, that was cool. So shout out to the Reading Buccaneers. That was my first drum corps experience, and they actually they won like first place for years. They were like undefeated champs. Smoking. From I think the only year that I marched in 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013. And I was drum major in 2013, and then I went on to teach a different drum corps, the Bushwhackers out of New Jersey.
Yeah.
You
read my notes?
Yeah, I know.
My notes?
Yes, I know. but so yeah, the only year of the years that I marched, the only year we didn't win was 2011. But yeah, we were just known as that corps.
Oh, it's them.
Yeah, right. like kind of like the Yankees.
Yeah.
But no, I mean that was actually a super formative experience too, just marching in drum corps. I think being a musician, having to learn to be a musician, and then doing marching band, but then taking it a step further to drum corps. I tell people drum corps is like the NFL of marching band. You can play high school football and you can play college football, but then the NFL is that's on another level. It takes another level of inherent talent and skill and then dedication and growth.
For sure.
And so I really think that marching in drum corps in general and teaching in drum corps gave me a foundation of competitiveness, but also dedication.
Yeah,
for sure. I know that this is going to be a struggle. Yeah, and even though it's going to be a struggle, it's going to be worth it at the end.
100%.
So that definitely got ingrained in my head through that experience, just in the marching arts in general. And that's helped my mentality as a business owner too, because it's hard.
Oh, I'm sure.
It is not for the weak. Entrepreneurship, people talk about own your own business, get your own business, you get your own. It's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah,
and
extremely.
There's times where you want to throw in the towel, and sometimes I think about that. I remember my first season at Bucks. One of my friends was standing next to me, and I had never played a brass instrument. I would go home from rehearsals crying because I didn't know. This was the first time I was not good at something that I was trying to do, and I had been I was a clarinet player.
Yeah.
And one of my instructors at Westchester, Mike Britcher, he was like, "Hey, you should come and join the Buccaneers." And I was like, "I don't play a brass instrument." And he was like, "It's cool, we'll teach you." And I was like,
"It's fine."
"Okay."
It's fine.
And he told me the baritone is the easiest thing to pick up and play, and as a woodwind player. I was like, "All right, cool." So I went there, started playing baritone. I was there for one day, and then just to kind of try it out. Yeah. And then I learned 28 pages of drill, which is the movements, right? So a whole song. It's like each page you get a dot, and then the next page you get a different dot, and you have to move in real space in real time
that dot.
from one dot. It's you're connecting the dots with your body.
That's crazy.
And you got to do it facing one direction. It's choreography and stuff like that. So anyway, I learned all this drill in one day in the baritone spot, and then the caption head Manesh Shah called me that night and was like, "Hey, we want to switch you to another instrument." And I was like, "What?" and he was like, "We want to switch you to, we have a mellophone spot that's a little more visually forward. They wanted that spot filled more from a visual standpoint."
Sure.
And I was like, "Okay, but I don't play that instrument." And I'm a clarinet player, for God's sake. I don't know how to do any of this. I don't know what I'm doing here.
Exactly.
And that instrument was so much more difficult to learn. Yeah. And he was like, "It's fine. You just learn." And I was like, "But I just learned 28 pages of drill today for this one spot that y'all put in." And he was like, "Yeah, so I know you can do it again." Damn it.
God Damn it.
Why? Why I gotta be so good at stuff? So, but yeah, I remember that season was so rough because, like, again, like, I'm used to being able to pick stuff up fairly quickly, but that was so difficult. Like, and it was no pressure coming from the teaching staff. It was all like me wanting to excel. And not being able to because that wasn't in my skill set.
Yeah.
And then, like, my studio professor was like, she didn't want us playing any other type of instrument. And so I didn't even tell her that I was marching.
That's crazy.
I didn't even tell her because this was like, I mean, it wasn't like affiliated with our school.
Sure, yeah.
It was a lot of people that went to Westchester that marched in the Buccaneers, but it wasn't like really affiliated. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, by the end of the season, I remember like finals, I played every note in that book, and I marched off the field with my horn. I was like tears streaming down my face.
Yeah.
I was just like, I did it! Like, I finally did it! Like,
yeah.
finals weekend! The last show! I got all the notes!
That's dope.
Yeah. That was
circle.
huge. And it was just like a whole summer of like struggle.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong.
Of course, yeah.
It was more like an internal, like, personal desire to push myself past what I thought my capabilities were.
Yeah, for
And then
sure.
after that, I was like, oh, well, if I can play mellophone,
I can do anything.
basically. Pretty much.
Man, that's so dope, man. And I think, awesome. like you mentioned, I mean, you know, studied at Westchester, concentration in clarinet. I believe, and it's funny because when you had came in, we sat off air. We had played the William Osborne piece, Rhapsody.
Oh my God, yeah.
That you played in your recital.
Freshman year.
You said you were trash. I don't think you're trash. I mean,
I know.
You know,
the untrained ear.
No, for sure, the untrained ear, because I played nothing. I played my voice. I sang back in the day. But you know what I mean? Play video games. I'm great at Call of Duty. But no, for sure. I mean, but that just shows the growth, right? Like that shows like the progress that, and even the determination, like you had said, like there's a lot of work ethic that goes into being really good in band, like anything. Because or anything particularly, right? And I think it's great for me to see that you went through all of these leaps and bounds to just build yourself to new heights, and a lot of times no one's gonna push you,
right?
Like you really have to go home and like push yourself.
And that's what it was like in Bucks, because like I would get rides with Victor, this guy Victor. Shout out to Victor. He was dope.
Shout out to Victor.
He was the brass, the horn line captain. So he was a marching member, but he was kind of like the captain of all the brass players.
Sure.
And he would give me lessons sometimes, and like I had some other friends that were marching in different drum corps that would like help me out and stuff. And he would always tell me like, bro, like don't be so hard on yourself. Okay? Like no one is expecting. We all know that you're a clarinet player. Yeah. Trying to play mellophone, and I'm like, no, but I can't play the notes. I would be in tears the whole like 2-hour ride back home. Yeah. And everybody else was like way easier on me than I was. I just wanted to excel. I love challenges like that. Yeah. I love challenges like that where I know it's something that's within reach if I try for it.
Yeah, so. For sure. I think I just talked to somebody about this. It's like the difference between like good and great is like 5%. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like a 95 and 100 on a test. It's like great means you have to go be, and the crazy thing is 5% seems like a small amount when you've trekked 95, right? But it's really not as small as you think, right? Like that extra, it's the extra. You gotta squeeze for that. You gotta squeeze, and like you might have to get rid of friends. Like you might have to change your eating schedule. You might have to change your sleep schedule just to be like literally. But and that's just you just think about how difficult it is to be great. Right, and I think one of the main key components is pushing yourself when no one else will. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's funny because like I can tell like you were extremely musical, like even outside of like doing like curricular things. Like I think there was a video of you playing like America the Beautiful with 2 other people like water bowls. Yeah. Like water music is
that was crazy.
Like that is dedication. I tell you, like being that musical outside of class is like.
No, you know what's funny? So like that happened because we were in, and I guess that was my senior year. We were in methods class, which is like, you know, we have it was like a 3-hour class, twice a week. And the one day the class got canceled, and my friend Andy came over, and like we had breakfast or something, and something crazy happened where we're like sitting there eating, and he flicked something like a spoon or something like that, and it hit one of the glasses, and we're like, oh. That sounds real nice. And I literally like went and grabbed all of the glasses and bowls in the house and we for like an hour were like setting up.
Yeah, like you're tuning.
We're
like,
tuning
like water.
Yeah, and then we played all this stuff, and then and then like that spring break, we got Lawrence in there because he like me and Andy and Lawrence were all like we all had really really good ears.
Yeah,
and we had some downtime. We were on campus on spring break because we were like recording something with the wind ensemble. And in one of our downtimes, we did that. We did America the Beautiful. We did
like the Rugrats theme.
We did the Rugrats theme. We did Forget You.
Yeah, CeeLo.
That was the one that went viral.
Crazy.
And, like, in our
fire.
in our music school. I think it had like 18,000 views or something.
Something like that. It's a lot. It was a lot.
I was like, okay.
It was a lot. No, for sure. And I think that's just so dope though. Like just being.
It was just fun.
Exactly right. And I think people who eventually will become great at something have these small moments where you can look back and like, oh man, I was like.
Remember that time we did that?
Hey, we could do this again. We can go on the road.
Right.
Which I thought was super dope. I had to bring that up. I mean, and this is not in my notes, so just from my memory of like you being, in addition to being a great musician, like also carrying your baking skills with you, even in college, where it was like you would go to parties and like you don't drink. So, like, you would have to occupy your time somewhere else. In the kitchen. You would get, like, eggs and cream and stuff from the store and then go to the party with your equipment. And people are, like, taking shots, like, doing everything else. And you're in the kitchen whipping cheesecake. Yeah, like that is, man, if I tell
and
you.
It was literally like, I'm just doing that because I love it.
Because you love it.
Because you can't make a cheesecake and then, it's not like brownies. Like, you can't just eat it out the oven. You make a cheesecake, then you put it in the fridge for 8 hours.
You got to let it sit.
Right, so I'm just doing this because I'm like, everybody's like, playing quarters in the living room.
Yeah. Quarters is crazy.
Yeah. Brought me back to college.
Right, exactly.
Woo, man.
But no, my one friend, he was like, he came in the kitchen and he was like, what are you doing? I'm like, making cheesecake.
Making cheesecake.
You can make cheesecake?
I thought you bought that.
Yeah, he's like, I thought it was something you bought from the store. I'm like, somebody gotta make it.
Somebody gotta make it. It's gonna be me.
Right. No, yeah, I travel around with a springform pan. And like cookies in my trunk. Just like it's so weird to say that now because like that's wild.
Yeah.
Super wild.
But if it's anybody, I would expect it to be you. I'm just saying. We gonna get there.
I'm just trying to stay prepared.
Exactly. You gotta be.
Gotta be. You never know when you gotta
whip a cheesecake up. You know what I'm saying?
You never know. Time may call for it.
So.
Oh my God. It's like the threats skit on the keep trash bags with me. Never know when you got ducking
my God.
Yeah. I keep springforms with me. Never know when you gotta whip something up.
Exactly. You never know. It might just call for that
right now. I'm just saying.
But I mentioned like your music and your baking because like, well, for all the audience members who have yet to get the whole story yet, like I'm doing this for a reason, you know, like I'm piecing these things together because I think all of these things match sort of like a symphony in a way. They kind of come together, you know, in a way that makes a lot of sense once we get to like present day about the things that you've done. So I got to set the stage. So we keep going forward. You also played for Stevenson band, Stevenson University band.
Yes.
Shout out to Stevenson. I live close to there now.
Shout out Mark Lawrence.
And John Zeman, right?
Yes. Ravens band. Shout out Ravens band.
Right, and who actually he wrote for the Buccaneers.
So Mark Lawrence, Mark Lawrence is the band director at Stevenson who wrote for the Buccaneers.
How insane is
that? Was nuts.
Like.
That whole
full circle moment.
Yeah.
Like, there's a bunch of those that happened, but that was like it surprised me.
So I met Mark Lawrence. You know, it was for a couple years. So this was my third season marching in the Buccaneers, and that was the Black Symphony. That was like a record setting. I'm pretty sure that score that we got, the record still hasn't been broken. Pretty sure. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
Fire. Legendary.
Yeah, that book. I mean, that season was just so special. Like the show was amazing, the music was amazing, the drill, the choreography, everything was so special. Everybody in the corps really just felt like a family. Like it was a vibe. It was like
it's fire.
Yeah, that was definitely my favorite season that I marched with the Bucks. And the book was so fun to play. Like the music was so incredibly fun. So finals that year was at the Naval Academy in Annapolis. Usually it was up, and before that it was up in Rochester, New York. But we came down here, and then they were like, "Hey, Mark Lortz is here. And I was like,
really?
The guy that wrote the music?
Really?
And so I was like, I gotta find him. And I like found him. I was like, thank you so much for all the mellow notes. Like, this is such a fun book to play.
That's fire.
I was like, cool. So then, like, I guess like I followed him on Facebook or something, like we became friends. And then he hit me up and he was like, hey. When he saw that I moved to Maryland, he hit me up and was like, hey, why don't you come play for my university? And I was like, I don't go there. He was like, that doesn't matter. I'll pay you. And I was like, oh,
I didn't say you needed to.
Sold. Right, exactly. So I went there. I mean, that was really dope because I had graduated and moved here.
Yeah.
And I marched there for a couple seasons, and he like paid me to do it. And
it's
then
fire.
I ended up doing like pep band too, and it was like super fun. And then they Mark Lortz and John Zeman, like they know each other too. So I actually wound up in Raven's band from.
Reading my notes.
Who told me? I'm trying to think of who told me about Raven's band. I can't remember. It might have been Mark. It might have been Mark that told me about Raven's band. But I remember like looking it up, and then me and my colleague at the time, I was teaching at Baltimore Leadership School for Young Women at the time. He's like, yep, I know.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And my colleague Robert Meeks was the other music teacher. So I told him about it. I was like, hey, there's this band. Like we should go try it out. And hit up John Zeman and
legendary, by the way. I really can't.
Yeah, and I
understate.
I called him and he was like, you need to watch the ESPN 30 for 30 documentary. And I was like, okay, it's my homework. And then he was like, yeah, we had a conversation, and then I ended up like going and joining that year. And then this was after their season had started, but I guess they had like a couple trumpet holes or something. And then Robert, my colleague, he's a trumpet player, and like I can play trumpet now because I played mellophone. I can play like anything now.
Anything.
So, and I told them that, and then when I walked in the door, John Zeman, this was at the Under Armour, the performance facility up in New Orleans. When I walked in the door, John Zeman pulled me aside and was like, I want you to audition for drum major next year. And I was like, okay. He was like, yeah, I saw that you were drum major in the Buccaneers, and yeah, I want you to audition for drum major.
Yeah.
I was like, that's crazy. Okay.
Okay.
He's like, I've heard about you, because like he knows Mark, he knows like other people. Like the music world is very small, and also like the school I went to, Westchester, is like, that name holds
their top level,
holds some weight.
For sure. They're like a conservatory now, right?
Yeah, it's like conservatory level for sure. And so, especially in like music education, because Westchester used to be a teacher's college first. Yeah. So any education degree from there is like really great.
Crazy.
Right, but then like they've been building up the School of Music for decades now. It's just amazing. So anywhere in the region that you go, and you say I went to Westchester. That's like, award,
We're paying you an extra like $3,000 on top of whatever we was gonna give.
Just because of that, don't
no, for sure.
Don't tell the Kutztown kids.
They're gonna be mad.
Right.
No, but that's dope though. I mean, like you ended up becoming like a conductor for the Baltimore Ravens band.
Yeah.
And man, like I know that experience was like incredible. Like getting like just being able to go to every home game alone. Like
and get paid for it.
You can do that and not pay me.
Right.
I would go just to be there and play my instrument. I don't know when I'm playing whatever this is. Maybe trumpet. I don't know. Like whatever that is.
I don't think that's a thing.
It's not. It's it's one of them. Yeah, something
that's
like
Zataran's clarinet.
Zataran's on the front of the box. Yeah, no, 100%. I'm playing one of those.
No, there were a lot of people in the band that were just like super fans of the Ravens.
Yeah,
and have been in the band for years and years and years.
Yeah,
that wasn't me, but like I was contractually obligated to be a Ravens fan. So I cheer for whatever team I'm with.
Yeah.
I do like football. I watch football and stuff like that. I don't have any allegiance to anything. If I had to pick a team, of course, I'm picking the Ravens.
I mean, we're kind of good.
They're kind of good.
Shout out to Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have you hear one of these. I'm gonna have you hear one of these. Oh, for sure.
Yeah, we'll for sure.
I mean, all right, yeah, right. I feel like you got X-ray vision or something. Like you're on my notes. You're right here. Like, but
who's studying who?
Who's studying who? I don't know. And I don't know at this point. I don't know. We're gonna figure it out. So I mean, you taught music at Garrison Forest as well.
Yes.
And I want to talk about sort of starting that early Codetta business, right? Like in the teeny tiny kitchen of your apartment in Bolton Hill.
Yes.
Like I wanna just for a second talk about the stress level that, like, I think your dad had came and was like, so where do you bake?
Right.
And you're like, right there.
Right here, yeah.
Like, tell me about
gosh.
those early beginnings of like forging this great thing.
Yeah, it was crazy because it was just a side gig for like the longest.
Yeah.
Like, I had been making cheesecakes, obviously, you know, the whole car trunk, springform pans.
Yeah.
But I had been making, like, I was like the family, you know, dessert person for all the gatherings, and I would just bring stuff. And people would tell me for years, like, oh, you should sell this. You gotta sell this. And then I met my ex that in 2017. And he was like, oh no, yeah, you gonna sell this. And he like made a website and we started selling it. And it was really, really small. Like, I sold to like coworkers and like friends, literally just word of mouth on this. I maybe had like one order a month.
USPS workers too?
Maybe. Yes. Yes.
You know.
I used to go and drop off at the Dundalk mail station. Just like every other Saturday. So we did our like R&D there. Like, recipe testing, like how I really like nailed down my cooking methods and like how to slice stuff, what toppings, different flavors, what people liked. They would give like feedback on the difference. They would request stuff. So. Yeah, shout out to those early fans.
Man, I know they was so happy.
Right.
Like, the cheesecake is perfectly cut, made. My name is on it. Let me just. I'm just gonna take a break. I know I'm gonna take my 5 right now. Right now.
That was like crazy. That was like guerrilla marketing. It was like hustler mode. And I just like my apartment was small. I just transformed the dining room into like that was my prep table.
Yeah. Man, dedication, man.
It was nuts.
And I kind of skipped over it a little bit, but like even kind of still on the music, like the name Codetta is a nod to music. You know, your music background, of course, derived from coda, which is the concluding section in a piece of music, and Codetta is like a little coda. It's like a little something sweet to finish your meal.
Exactly.
And very dope. Very.
Thank you.
I'm right here with you because I'm cerebral like that too in terms of how I made everything that I'm doing in this media company. But I love to see that there was that thought that went into it, and you're blending that's why I said I'm piecing this together for them because music and baking and just all around sweet things kind of fall naturally together in your story. And I just loved hearing that. I mean, you continue your business, you know what I'm saying? And I want to say around 2020, like, COVID happens, right? Like, and, you know, it kind of altered your endeavors of being a music educator. But then it's also like there were some health things that went on, you know, that sort of, all of these things kind of put the pressure on to like make you now sort of pivot and do some different things with your career. So start, you know, tell me about that a bit. I mean,
it was a lot. It was, you know, but I'll tell the people.
Tell them, tell them.
So 2020 happened. And, you know, baking is my stress relieving activity. So I started, like, baking. And at the time, me and my ex, we had started, like, going around and trying to find really good cupcakes in the city.
You couldn't find a good, like, customer service either.
Yeah, we couldn't find like, a good quality, like, flavor, like, the actual cupcake combined with good customer service. And I was like, well, I know, like, I'm a good person. So, like, customer service is A1. We just got to figure out the cupcake piece. Yeah. So then I started making cupcakes and just selling them on
Maple
Instagram.
bacon.
Yes.
Old Bay caramel.
All kinds
pistachio.
of stuff.
That one looked insane.
That's one of my favorites.
That looked insane. I'm a foodie, too. And I was like, pistachio cardamom? What? Yeah. Who would think like that? I tipped my hat to you virtually.
You know where that came from? So my sister, I think that was 2019 maybe, where that flavor first came to be. It was a cake actually. But I made it. My sister is dairy free, and she asked me. Well, I went to Thanksgiving that year and made like a dairy free Thanksgiving, which is crazy. That was a challenge. Like, I had to find vegan butter that was decent and, like, you know, all the creams. Yeah, it was intense. But and she asked me to make her some vegan ice cream, some vegan kulfi, which is like it's like coconut, cardamom, pistachio, and like rose water. And so she asked me to make that, and I was like, this is good. Like, let's try this in a cake form. So
yeah, for sure.
That's kind of where that came from. And yeah, that's one of my favorite flavors.
Yeah, that's dope.
Party pea.
That's dope. I mean, if you ever, you know, do one of those again, you know what I'm saying? Let me know.
I got you.
Let me know. I'm buying 7. But I think that's so dope too, in terms of, you know, just putting these things together, like being creative in that space, you know. And I think music is a very creative, like free thinking kind of space where you can be as creative or not as you want to be,
definitely.
in a piece of music or in a like an arrangement. But I think even in baking, it gives you that same like ability to be, free to think and free to create on your own level. And it's funny because, I think your mom had said something about like you're going to go from a teacher who bakes to a baker who teaches.
Facts.
And that's like to me that was a bar. Like,
yeah.
That was she'll put that in the
it.
16 and then drop the song this summer.
It.
It's crazy. I mean, and you come from a family of teachers, right? Like, I think your sister teaches at Harvard, right?
Yes.
Like, Insitar Rob.
Rob.
Even I think Khaled teaches as well.
Yes,
and it's funny because random at the leadership school, I think you taught with your sister and your brother at the same time, which I thought was dope. I was like, I don't think I've ever seen that happen before. Just
that was crazy, because the three of us taught. The three of us worked there, and then my nieces went there, and so it became like a joke, like y'all family, y'all trying to take over the school.
Give me a year and a half.
Right.
I got you.
Don't tempt me.
No, 100%. I mean. I think and I can't stop thinking about this tres leches cake. I'm not gonna lie. I gotta for a second step out of my interview mode and just be like the guy who loves. That's my favorite kind of cake. I don't know if you know.
If you'd had it before.
Like, I don't know if you don't know that. I mean, you ain't do research on me.
I do no research.
Do some research on me. I do that. That's my job.
I'm gonna bring cheesecake and tres leches because it's like our number one and number two things that we make.
For sure. And I mean, I wanted to talk about the tres leches cake a little bit because I think like. Well, it was first an idea for you to try making it.
Yes.
Right? And then you ended up making it, and it just, like, took boom.
Yeah.
Like, explosion.
Yeah,
right?
And now, like, people are like, this is the best tres leches I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, me and Carla, we went to Mexico last year, and
yeah.
I made some tres leches there. And, we gave it to people, and they were like, are you sure you're not Mexican? And I was like...
You're my cousin.
My people were stolen, so maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah,
we don't know.
Never know. But no, that's really dope. And like the one chick that we met there, she texted me like a couple months ago. This is like we went there last year. She texted me a couple months ago. Like, I still haven't had a better tres leches than yours.
Man, that's fire. That's fire.
So I'm excited for you to taste it.
I am so excited. Like I'm getting that on camera, by the way. That's gonna be in the video.
Definitely.
That is I can't even. I know it's fire.
You're a fan of it.
Yeah, I am, because I didn't know that you was gonna bring tres leches cake, and I'm telling you, we gonna talk after the pod. But I mean, I want to keep going a bit, and speaking of like tres leches cake and the cheesecake that you bought, I think your favorite cheesecake is from Junior's, right? Like from other than yours.
Codetta.
Other than yours. I mean, because yours is obviously better. I mean, but I think yours will give Junior's a run for the money because all of the positive energy, all the positive feedback I've seen, the reviews, the people like literally this is the best cheese, and this is like a recipe that you've been cultivating for literal decades.
Yes.
So it's like
crazy at this point in the decade.
It's probably a really great cheesecake, right? Like, I mean, just safe to say without anybody even tasting it yet.
Yeah.
Like, but you should taste it.
Definitely.
And you should go buy
like right now.
Like
go place an order.
3 of them right now. If you get a 3 or cheesecake order, you know it's from me.
Right.
But I mean, it's crazy because even talking about the cupcakes, right? Like, you didn't have a sweet tooth, right?
No,
like, you don't have a sweet tooth at this point.
Still don't.
And, to be able to craft and create these things, cultivate that incredible recipe, like, it just speaks. It's such hard work and dedication that is, like, going to keep coming through this interview and keep coming through your journey, because I think you have to work really hard to get where you are.
Yeah.
To cultivate the things that you have, to make things the best polished version,
Yeah.
Like, that takes a lot. I just want to give you your flowers, of course, because there's this moment in the interview I always have to, recognize real when I see it, and that is a lot of hard work. And I got to take my hat off to you, man. I can't imagine what blood, sweat, and tears went into all of these things, this process.
Yeah, it was a lot I got burn marks on my arm.
Oh, that's like battle scars.
Yeah, battle scars.
You know what I mean?
This right here. This is the tell me you worked in the kitchen without telling me you worked in the kitchen scar right here.
No, 100%.
That's what that is.
Man, shout out to The Bear. I remember. I don't know if you watched The Bear.
I haven't. People told me not to watch it because it'd be triggering. But I don't really I don't work in.
I mean, there is a pastry chef.
There
is a pastry chef in the. He kind of gets treated a little bit like shit.
Yeah, no, but
it's
it's funny, like I didn't go. I never have been in like a toxic culinary environment. Like, I didn't go to pastry school. I didn't go to culinary school or anything like that. So if you come in the bakery, like when we're working, we're just vibing, listening to music, and you know, crushing up cookies.
That's why the food is so good.
Right. Exactly. So,
positive energy makes positive food.
No, so I haven't watched The Bear just because I ain't got Hulu.
I said that, but I pirated it. But I say that the head chef Carmi has like a bird mark in the middle of his hand, and it's like a battle. Because I think he grabbed a pot. When it was really hot.
Ooh,
and he worked at like the French Laundry and all types of shit like that. But it's like, you know, it's a battle scar. It's like, and it's I think Anthony Bourdain wrote a piece in his book about like, you know, it was in the 90s. There was this culture of like, oh, his hands are really callous. Like, oh, her arm has like the bruises and the cut on it, and it's like, that's how much work they put in. You know, and it's like this silent respect that, you know, you shake the hand and it's like, oh, you feel it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
My hands get so crusty in the winter because because it's cold, but like when I'm in the shop, like I'm just, I hate having stuff on my hands. Hate it. Can't stand it. Yeah. My team, like, people be making fun of me because I will, like, you know, spill some crumbs and immediately wipe but I wash my hands so much that they just get, especially in the winter, they just get it's like cracked. And
for sure.
I have this one crack on this finger that like it never really, like, it's still there. It's more shallow right now. It gets real deep in the winter.
Yeah.
Real deep.
No, 100%. I mean, you wash your hands a lot because you're making a lot of product.
This is true.
And I mean, that just speaks to your dedication, man. I mean, I think there was a point where you like shifted your schedule, like sleep schedules, to be able to fulfill orders.
Yes.
Like, and that's like, nope, a lot of people are not doing that. I just want to say. Like, a lot of people that got all this money, that's popping, that got the clout on Instagram, like, they not really putting in that level of work.
Yeah.
You know? That matters. That matters.
It's crazy. Like, making because cheesecake, we had a guy, a kitchen consultant in today, and he came in when we were, like, putting the cheesecakes in the oven. He was like, oh, so that's how you do it. And he was like, you know, how long is it? He was like, you cook them in a water bath? And I was like, yeah. He was like, how long does it take to bake? And I was like, 2.5 hours. And he was like, that's a long time. I was like, yeah. And then it chills. It has to chill on the counter for 2 hours. Then it goes in the fridge, and it has to chill for 8 hours. And then it's got to freeze for at least 8 hours before we slice it so we can get clean slices. Yeah. So it's literally like, I tell him, like, we have 1 day a week that we make cheesecake. And we make all the cheesecake that we need. All day. It's so labor intensive, and it takes such a long time. But it's like, it's so much fun to do it. You know? Like, especially with my team. Like, they came up with the menu this week. Yeah. And I was like, I don't feel like thinking. Y'all come up with the menu. And they just be going crazy. Like, I love giving them that kind of like autonomy and stuff because the ideas they come up with are amazing. Yeah, for sure. So, it's always a lot of fun. But that just cheesecake itself is like, it's so labor intensive. It's really intimidating to a lot of people to make. Like, now I tell people it's not complicated, right? Like, nothing that we do is super complex, but it's technical. Yeah, for sure. There's not a lot of distinct, I think there's 7 ingredients in our like classic cheesecake. Yeah. That's it. We try to keep as few distinct ingredients as possible in all of our recipes. Like, we make from scratch. Yeah, fresh ingredients. Yeah, we put real stuff in it, and yeah. I think a lot of people appreciate that. Yeah. No, 100%. And I think, and it's funny because people won't, like, when they see the cheesecake for the first time, like, they probably won't even know how much effort went into that. Like, but they will know when they bite it. Yes, exactly. Like, they won't know when they see it because it's just like, you know, they've probably seen 100,000 cheesecakes in their lives, all types of cheesecakes, but then they see, like, the Codetta Classic, and it's like, one bite of this is like, I'm coming back here tomorrow. Right. I hope you're open. I'll be like, nah, we not. We have to go to next week. I mean, and I can imagine, like, early on when you had the 2 week, you know, lead time model versus transitioning to the on-demand model. Like, I can only imagine, like, that transition was insane because I know people are knocking your door down to get this cheesecake. People still do that. Yeah. People still do that. Like, I have like I keep meaning to make like a funny reel about this, but I will be in the shop like on like a Wednesday. Like, we're only open Friday, Saturday from 2 to 6 right now. Yeah, and that's a result of like us growing the business to the point where we have so many catering, custom, wholesale orders that we can only do retail 8 hours a week because we busy the rest. Yeah, 100%. Which is great, but then people, you know, it's some people who don't understand that, but they're like, I can never get to you. And I'm like, all right, well, you have to make it work,
Oh, God.
or just like order something, ahead of time. So we have different options, but I'll be in there on like a Wednesday, right? And people be like at the door, like, and I'm like,
give me my cheesecake,
right? And we're like, yeah, I came for the baker. Like, yeah, we're closed. That's why the lights are off and the doors. Somebody literally like sent me a text message one day. It was a Sunday, and I happened to be in there, and they were like, hey, I'm standing outside the bakery and the doors are locked and all the lights are off and it doesn't seem like anybody's there. Are you open? And I'm like,
well, if it sound like a duck,
right,
look like a duck,
if
walk.
it quacks like a duck, we not open.
Aflac. Like, I don't know what to
do. And the thing that geeks me is like, whatever method you use to find this number to text me also has our hours on it. And it's accurate. I'm not trying to fool you.
Reading is fundamental at that
Literally.
point.
Please read.
I don't know what to tell you. You got to wait till next week.
So yes, people be beating down the door.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And it's like when we first when we first started doing business, people were just like outraged by our policies. Like, I gotta wait 2 weeks to do. I'm like, yes.
Oh yeah, you do.
Like, that's crazy. And
Sorry.
then at one point, I think I had a 48-hour lead time, which was just insane. And I made it 2 weeks.
Crazy.
Yeah, and this was like when we weren't really doing like a whole bunch of stuff at all, which was like even crazier. Like now I can do like we have enough stuff on hand that I could do something in 48 hours. It's not that you still gonna get a rush fee.
I mean, of course.
You don't get every piece of that rush fee now. Don't get me wrong.
Of course.
But yeah, when we started doing 2 weeks, people be like, well, that's outrageous, and I want it now. And I'm like, okay. And like back then, my mentality was like, just grow the business, take the order, And like when you're starting out, that's kind of what you do. You're like, I just gotta get all the exposure that I can.
Sure.
And I have just learned like we're at a point now where my initial reaction when I have somebody this might sound bad. I hope this doesn't sound too bad. But this is like me counteracting my nature as a yes person.
Sure.
Like my initial response is no. Like you gotta convince me why I should go out of my way to make your last minute order. Because if it's for your kid's birthday happens the same day every year. Presumably. So why is it suddenly my problem now that you need 5 dozen cupcakes for your daughter's birthday?
That's facts.
Yeah. No.
Not
sorry, we can't do that.
Can't do it.
And I don't feel like I never used to say that. Be like, I'm sorry, we're not available for that. But here's how you can place your order ahead of time in the future.
Facts.
And it feels so good to say that. Like so good. Even like Amazon, this company that's like working with Amazon hit us up and they were like, yeah, we want to bring you in and we want you to provide food for the Amazon workers. And like old me would have thought, oh my God, this is such a great opportunity. And I was like, okay, how many dessert providers have you had in this program before? And she was like, well, we piloted it in Virginia. And I was like, okay, and what was the gross revenue for the pilot? And they were like,
great questions.
They were averaging like $700 a day. And I was like, yeah, that's not enough for us.
Nah,
and she was like, yeah, you can come up and you can set up your own tables and bring your own signage. And I'm like, that's work.
That is.
I don't pull up places like that.
$700.
Thanks for $700.
You better set my table up for me.
Literally.
And half of that is what you've made on your own.
Right. And then they took a cut too, and it was like, she was like, yeah, anything under $1,500 in sales. We take 25%, and anything over $1,500, we take 20%. I'm like, so it's gonna be 25% for me because you said their average sales were $700, and our price point is lower because we're not like a savory restaurant. We're not selling plates at $20.
Sure.
We're selling like cupcakes and
sweet things,
right?
Delicious, delectables.
So our price point is lower, and so I've really learned to like super vet opportunities like that. And like I just came to a point earlier this year. I was like, I'm not catering. I'm not vending anymore. I'm only catering. We're not vending unless it's something that I have done before and have 100% confidence that we're going to sell out. Like,
100%.
I'm just not doing it because it's not. It's different from like a clothing apparel business or something like that. If you have leftover product, you just like throw it back in the bins and put it in your basement.
Yeah, do it
for us. It's like we're not working with a whole lot of fridge space or freezer space, and like our product is perishable. So I need to sell it like immediately.
Facts.
So yeah, we don't do that no more. I really like. Because I'm such a yes person naturally, I literally had to like flip my thinking and be like, no, people are gonna have to convince me to go out of my way to like change something or like jump at the last minute. It needs to be something that is gonna either like be huge for us, like huge for
Right,
exposure,
yeah, exactly. Game changer.
or it's gonna be a lot of money if I have to do something last minute.
100%.
That's it. That's
And I'm so glad you're saying this, because like I think I have like a really diverse range of like audience members who watch my show, and people who are not just people who are in business or just doing their own black owned XYZ, you know, but also like 11, 12-year-olds, right?
Yeah.
Like these are things we don't really get to hear from people that look like us, right?
Yes.
Like about like taking opportunities and like not taking opportunities because it's not quite there for you.
And that's a hard thing to figure out, like where
so
your
difficult.
lane actually is.
Yeah, it's so difficult. And I'm so glad to hear you say that, because the 11 and 12-year-old who are thinking about like they're baking, you know what I mean? Like they're looking at you and you're the role model for them. And I don't want to put that much pressure on you, but like being a role model for them is like, that is one of the best things they can hear, of knowing how to really forge your business. And I think there's always a journey to get there, right? Like in the beginning, like, and this is kind of where I get to like the Boost program, because like I think shout out to Sam Story too.
Yes, shout out Sam Story.
And
That's the dude.
I think, you know, at the beginning you didn't really have it all together, right? Like you didn't have the business acumen, like the legal, the market, like all of these things were like completely
We was
like
thugging.
foreign,
We was thugging
you know?
it.
And then, you know, moving up to today, it's like you have a really good wealth of knowledge that, and of course every day is a learning lesson. More things always can be learned in terms of business, but like there's always that journey.
Yeah.
Like tell me about, in the audience of course, because I kind of already know. I think it was 2021, the Boost cohort, and you know what that did for you and Codetta Bake Shop.
Yeah, that was super big. So we had a couple of friends, like customers that suggested that we apply for this program from the Downtown Partnership of Baltimore. It's a grant program called the Boost Program, the Black-owned, operated storefront tenancy.
Fire acronym, by the way.
Yeah, it is. And so the idea was to pair Black-owned businesses that needed storefront spaces with these vacant retail spaces that exist in the downtown Baltimore area. Yeah. And so we applied, and it was so crazy. Like Sam, super shout out to Sam Story.
Super shout out.
The reason that part of the reason that I am where I am today, for real. In terms of like his involvement with Boost, so he was like the program runner for that. Yeah. And I remember I got a couple of recommendations for this program from customers. Went to a webinar. Yeah. Came away from that webinar like, I can't do that.
And you
like,
didn't apply.
I didn't apply.
Yeah.
And then like I missed the application deadline. They extended the application deadline because they got I think they didn't get as many applications as they wanted. And Sam Story reached out to me and was like, "Hey, I noticed that you were on the webinar but you didn't apply. Like, you know, is there a reason why?" And I was like, "He noticed me." You noticed. He was like, "I was really excited to see your bakery on, you know, you on the webinar."
For sure.
I saw that you didn't apply. And I was so confused. I was like, "How could he possibly know that we exist?" And I remember asking him like, "Are you saying like you're just happy to see a bakery on there? Or are you happy to see like?" I was just like, "No, I'm happy to see you." Yeah, and like,
that's
I
fine.
asked him about that, and he was like,
That's
"Yeah,
fine.
well, I was tasked with making a list of all the Black-owned businesses in the city, and that's how I learned about your business. And like I've seen you like on Instagram and all this stuff." And so he really spoke confidence in me. He was like, "It's okay if you don't have all the documents, like we will help you get to where you need to be."
Yeah.
And so that's another thing, like anybody who's interested in entrepreneurship, there's so many resources out here. Yeah. It takes a lot. It's like 80% you. Of course. And your determination and like being hungry enough to go after the resources, and then it's 20% like using, you know, the actual resources exist. So like I made a business plan, and that was fire because I was up super late doing that business plan too. And like we had a template that Sam had sent us, and you know I had to do like market research and figure out like, you know, what are our industry codes. These are completely foreign things to me. I had to prepare like a cash flow statement, balance statement, income statement, all these things like profit and loss. And I'm like, ain't got none of these documents. What do we like? We're not real.
I love
I'm like,
that.
I'm 3 raccoons in a Codetta shirt. I'm not like a real business owner right now. I don't know what I'm doing. I teach music.
Right. Oh yeah.
But no, like
fire.
did that, and then I remember we sent it to. I sent it to my dad, and I sent it to my accountant at the time, which was one of my my dad and this brother Mario Abdussalam. He's since passed away. Actually,
rest in peace.
But they were two of my biggest mentors. Like my dad was like, "Oh, you need to talk to Mario because he's great," and he helped me so much. And he was like, "Here's how you get an EIN. Here's how you register your LLC. You need to get licensed and all these things and blah blah blah." Yeah. And I sent him the business plan to look over. And he was like, "This is a really strong business plan." And I was like, I definitely thought everybody was gassing me because everybody that saw it was like, "This is a really great business plan." I'm like, I got this shit off of Google. Thank you, Google. Shout out to Google.
That's fire. Oh, man.
But, yeah, no. I mean, honestly, Sam's story, he was so encouraging to myself and the other businesses in that first cohort. Shout out to the Boost cohort.
Big shout out, man.
Black Genius Art Show, Elite Secrets Bridal, NKB Skin, and MRI Studios.
Fire.
Some of my favorite people in the world, for sure.
Yeah.
Please go support the business.
100%. Support all of them. Support all of them.
Literally.
I mean, of course.
That's been a really great network, just like our little cohort. We support each other. And one of the guys from MRI is Jimmy Thomas. His daughter works with me.
No, that's so dope.
And so, that's
so dope.
I'm mentoring her. I was going to say earlier, I do a lot of mentorship because, I used to be a teacher, but I love doing workshops for different youth groups. And I've hosted kids for, cupcake decorating classes and things like that.
So
actually, I haven't worn this shirt in forever, but this is from the Network for Teaching Entrepreneurship, and I was on a panel discussion. So this is an organization that they have an entrepreneurship training program in high schools around the county, around the country. Yeah. And they invited me to come and be on a panel and talk about the business. I was like, me? Okay.
You love me.
You know me, son. But no, it's always super dope to get those opportunities. And I tell kids, I started doing this when I was 8. I started doing what I'm doing now when I was in 3rd grade. I do career days, and I tell them y'all are in 3rd grade right now. Whatever you love to do, it don't matter whether it's collecting rocks, playing video games, painting, anything. Whatever it is that you love to do, just keep doing it.
Yeah.
Just never stop doing it, and eventually you'll be so good that people will pay you to do it, and then it won't feel like work. That's
fire. That was a bar.
And it's crazy because I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, nobody ever taught me that entrepreneurship was a legitimate career path.
Yeah, nobody taught me.
That wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
It's not a thing in school. You go to school and you learn how to be a good employee.
100%.
You learn how to work for someone else.
Yep.
And you don't, it's just never even mentioned. You can work for yourself if you just do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And it's so, I think, especially for our people, it's so intimidating because when I left my teaching job, Howard County has great benefits, really great benefits.
Certainly.
Amazing. And I was literally, for 2 weeks, I was crying. I had to leave my kids. I loved that position. Yeah. Loved teaching there.
You follow them all the way through, right?
Yeah. So I was a middle school band director most recently at Lake Elkhorn Middle School. And so I had been there for 4 years, and I had kids that I taught in 6th grade that had me 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and then they went on to teach to march in the high school marching band, which I taught. So I taught them there too. And then some of their little siblings would start with me. So it was I'm teaching them in high school marching band, and their siblings started with me in 6th grade. And I met the kids because I was a middle school teacher. I was kind of connecting with both ways. Yeah. So I would go and meet the kids starting in 4th grade and kind of see them and be connected with those families. And I was really invested in that community. Still am. I love that.
Of course.
The kids. And it was really, really tough. That was the hardest thing I've ever done. Leaving that job. It was my dream job, for real.
Yeah.
And I cried. And it was oh my God, what am I doing? And I was I'm going to be homeless. I don't know. How am I going to get money? But shout out to God too. Cause
shout out to God.
Within 4 months, I replaced my monthly pay, which was insane. And I was
insane.
Maybe
this could work a little bit. I didn't call it, but
Mom called it.
Yeah, Mom definitely called it. Moms be knowing, man. I swear.
She knows everything. I don't know. She might give you a run for your money.
No, oh God, Mom, if you're looking for a job, I got an extra seat up here.
Researcher, exactly.
But that's the thing. It's seeing it through, right? Like seeing the journey, seeing the process, and after that boost cohort, like the journey has gotten even bigger, right? Like I can just list off a few things. I mean, there's a lot. So I know if I spend time on everything, we'll be here for another 3 hours. But numerous features on WJZ. Shout out to Lynn Bowie.
Yeah.
Man, Good Morning America feature. Shortly after that, moved to Federal Hill. Featured in Baltimore Magazine, front page of the Baltimore Sun.
Yep.
And
Twice.
Valentine's Day and another time after that.
Yes.
Like
year.
featured on Fox Baltimore,
Yeah.
like vendor at the Preakness,
Yeah.
like man, named finalist in the best cupcake in Baltimore, and being a self-taught baker at that,
Yes.
and getting that, like that's like
That's a crazy story too.
insane.
That's a crazy.
Please, I would love to hear that.
So
That's-
this is funny because and these are two. I won't name. I mean, there's no shade, but I'm not going to name the
sure,
other bakers. But
I wasn't either. But.
in 2019, I always had a summer. Even though I was a teacher, but I always had like a summer gig.
Sure.
I don't know how to sit
It's
still
habit.
for real.
Habit. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I need to do something. And so I wanted to get a job in a bakery so I could like hone my skills. This was like right at the beginning of Codetta Bakery.
Sure,
and
sure.
we had just started making buttercream cakes. And like I had made them before for family, but I was like, I need to like work on my decorating skills and stuff.
Sure,
So I
sure.
wanted to work in a bakery environment. So there was this one really, really like nationally famous bakery that's in Baltimore, and they had a position that was open on like Craigslist. It was like 14 an hour, like a bakery assistant. I was like, perfect.
Got you.
So I applied for that. They didn't even call me back. And then there was this other bakery who like, I saw his stuff on Instagram. I was like, this stuff's really good. Like I would love to. And I just hit him up and was like, hey, I'm a music teacher, but I'm like starting a bakery. Here's my portfolio question, like in air quotes, because it was just like a bunch of shitty pictures of cakes that I made. And so I sent it to him, and his team was like, yeah, we only take interns that are like in pastry
In
school.
pastry school, right? Yeah.
And I was like, dang, okay. So I'm going to just do it on my own then. So
Yeah,
I just like spent the summer looking up like cake trends on YouTube, and literally went to YouTube to learn how to decorate cakes. Like, how do I make a drip? How do I do this? How do I make ganache? Like all these things I just learned on my own, and like spent that summer just trying stuff out. And I would give stuff, like I was living, this was in the Bolton Hill apartment.
Yep.
I had one of the other guys that lived in the apartment on the second floor. I just gave him some cupcakes. Like, hey, you want some cupcakes?
He loved it.
Yeah, I'm like, I didn't know what else to do other than just like try it myself. And so,
for sure.
And then, so the upshot of this story is this was 2020, I think it was 2022. Yeah. In the Baltimore Magazine, they have Best of Baltimore, and the Best Cupcake Award. I didn't win. I got runner up.
Finalist. Yeah.
Yeah, I was a finalist. And so the winner was one of the bakeries, the bakery that told me that they only took pastry school interns. And then tied for second place with me was the other bakery that I applied to, and they didn't even call me back. And I was like,
full circle moment.
You
could have won.
Y'all don't even know.
You could have won if you had me. I'm just saying.
Literally.
But now I'm finna win on my own.
No, you know what's crazy? Like all these competitions and stuff, I never promote them.
Yeah,
It's completely organic. Like all the votes, I don't ever say, because I have to talk, I don't even pay attention to that. I'm just like, la. Like I'm baking and listening to Mac Ears. That's my life.
Yeah,
right
exactly.
now. And so, so people will hit me up and they'll like tag me and things like, oh, go vote for Codetta Bake Shop, and I'm like, cool, vote for us, But I don't really push it. And part of me is like, once we get our new location, like we're gonna blow up, and then it's gonna be undeniable. It's not even gonna be a question.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just wait. I'm patient.
100%. It's on the way. I know it's on the way. Man, that's just so fire.
Yeah.
And I think
that was a really cool full circle moment.
That's such a full circle moment, right? Like
it was very validating too, because like
man,
I had people like over the years that have said like, well, where have you gone to pastry school? And I'm like, I didn't. Like,
YouTube University.
Right, literally. But it's like, where'd you go to business school? I'm like, nah. Just means
hard knocks.
Don't say nothing, but I am my own accountant too. Like, don't say nothing.
That's fire, by the way. But that's the thing. It's like, man, I think these moments are so important. And like I said, like, a lot of people who are there at these early moments. A lot of people who are, even now, the people that blew up that got all this crazy recognition that, like, don't have these really grinder moments that are going to, like, really make you, It's like, once you do blow, like, once you get beyond them and even beyond that, all of these individual moments they're gonna resonate in your mind, like, and they've taught you lessons that you can never forget now. Like, even how to treat, like, up and coming bakers, or like people who are, like, looking for opportunities. Like, you employed, like, the daughter of, like, one of your cohort members. Like, that's like,
and she loves it. That was the whole reason for that was because he hit me up a couple years ago, and people like message me all the time and say, "Oh, my kid loves to bake. Can they intern with you?" 100% of the time, I say yes. They're the only ones that follow through. So she's the only one that's ever, like, come in. So she came in to intern 2 years ago. Yeah, she was amazing.
That's
and I train all my team members. So he said, Jimmy said, like, their bonding activity is they will, like, cook together over FaceTime.
Oh, that's fire.
Like, super dope.
I love it.
And she's a really sweet kid, and she came in with just a lot of prior knowledge and, like, genuine passion for cooking and for baking, and she, like, wants to do that. And she was going into a high school that had a culinary training program.
That's fire.
So that's why he reached out to me. He was like, "Can she come learn from you?" And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
And so I told her, like, when she finished her internship, I gave her a shirt, which, like, I was only given to our team members. I was like, you part of the team.
Wow.
And I was like, next time you come here, I'm like, this isn't a free, like, an unpaid internship. I'm going to pay you. You can work here.
That's dope.
And, that's the one I told her, like, I will hire you full-time out of high school. Like,
oh, man. That's insane.
Yes. And
that's fire.
I keep trying to tell her, like, don't go to culinary. Don't even waste your, like, college is low-key, high-key a scam.
Yeah,
and
true.
There's very few degrees that you really need to go to school. Very few professions, but I told her, like, I will hire you full-time out of
right
and
now.
You have the flex, like, working full-time for me is maybe, like, 30 hours a week, but you're getting, like, a full-time salary. And,
that's
like,
fire.
And you still would have the freedom to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And the other, however many other hours there are in a week other than 30.
Yeah.
I'm not a math person.
Yeah, the math people out there, just do that. iOS 18 just dropped.
We'll look it up and we'll edit it in.
Yeah, we'll just
do it in post.
Somewhere in here, and definitely in post. I'm literally the person in post. I'm talking to myself.
You'll do it in post.
I'll do it in post. But that's so fire, man. I think, and these moments, like, really set the stage for everything that happens in the future and everything that you're, like, really building up to. And I'm just so glad. I'm proud of you for, just putting all this work in and then still being, like, a great, like, boss, and even if you probably don't call it boss, probably partnerships or, but like even
team member.
Being a great team member, that comes from being on the band. That comes from, like, being in the classroom setting where you have to work alongside people and teach things and send, all of these things pieced together make you as you are right now. Yeah. And I'm just so happy that you've done that great mental gymnastic work of putting all of these skills and lessons into what you're doing now, and it's incredible. It's incredible to see.
It was tough. I mean, even that piece was a big journey for me, like, learning how to be a leader in this context, because when we first started, I used to get frustrated, like, why don't you know how to do these things? Like, it's easy, just fold it in, You ever watch Schitt's Creek when they're like, just fold in the cheese, just fold it in, just fold it in, like, you gotta know what that means.
Fold cheese?
Like, that is a technical skill that needs to be taught. And
100%.
So there was a learning curve for me and learning, figuring out how to lead my team. Sure. And I found a lot of success, especially over the last, like, year and a half or so, leaning into my training as an educator. Because, as a teacher, you're taught to differentiate your instruction. Right? Everybody's a different learner.
Yeah.
Not everybody learns in the same way or at the same speed.
Exactly.
And so now I've kind of, like, come up with a loose curriculum, for lack of a better term, of, like, how I train my staff, like, what skills I teach them, what I'm looking for, skill retention, as well as, like, being able to process multi-step instructions, all the critical thinking skills, all math skills. Like, that's really important, because
you're measuring a lot.
Some people have come in and I'll be like, I need you to put a quarter cup of that. They're like, quarter, that's like
25 cents.
That's a fourth.
But, like, you put that on the measuring glass.
Put a quarter in the
and
cup.
then I take that out.
How many quarters?
In the U.
Like, nah, bro. So, even that, like, there's a lot of math in what we do. And I challenge my team because I want to see, like, I want to identify who can I tap for management? Who can I tap for like more responsibility, which comes with higher pay too.
Sure.
But yeah, that was probably that's been one of the longest lessons for me, is learning how to be a leader in this context and leaning on my past experience to do that.
100%. And that's very dope to hear. Again, also, it's another gem. We have like at least 10 gems so far. But another person who is also like a leader of their own team or their group, you should say, is Mac Ayers.
Yes.
And it's funny, incredible artist, incredible like guy, it looks like, from your lens, from your perspective. You're a Mac Ayers stan. I call him Mac Ayres. It's crazy. Shout out to Mac Ayres. I'm gonna call you that from now on.
Not tell him. Don't hold it against him.
She did not tell me to say that. I swear to God.
I had corrected him before we started. Before we started, I told him it's Ayers.
Man, shout out to Mac Ayers.
Yes.
Ayres. You got him. It's funny. There's a video of you. Like, him and his band are wearing the Codetta Big Shop shirts.
That was insane.
Like,
and it still don't feel real.
Like, I know that was incredible to see, because, like, you were just, like, giving, like, snacks and, things to the band before the show, because why not?
Yes.
And then they came out all dressed and, like, it might as well have been your show at that point. I'm just saying.
It was so crazy. Like, it's nuts. Like, that whole experience just kind of made me think I can do whatever I want.
Yeah,
for real.
I'm lit.
But the funniest part of that was like, that was like a treat to myself going to that concert. I went to 2 other concerts before that. So it was like Thursday night was in Philly, Friday night was in Boston, Saturday night was in Silver Spring.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I got a brother that lives in Philly and a sister that lives in Boston, so it's like, make this a thing.
Let's make it work.
I'm gonna just treat myself. This is a gift to me. Yeah. I'm working hard. It's been a tough year. Like, And so,
let's do it.
Right. So I literally, like, that Thursday, I drove up to Philly and went to the concert there with my friend. We brought desserts to them there. And then I hopped on a flight, went to Boston early the next morning, hung out for the day with my friend and my cousin in Boston. Went to the concert, they brought them desserts there.
Fire.
And then I flew back to Philly the next day and drove to my friend's house. Shout out to Lindsay Shearer and Phil.
Big shout out.
They made the shirts.
Yeah.
Like my college friend and her husband made those shirts, and I went and picked them up on my way back down from Philly.
Yeah.
Drove there, stopped at the bakery to get desserts, and then drove to Silver Spring, which is, it was just insane.
It's crazy.
And I brought my team with me there. I actually did a ticket giveaway on my Instagram, so it was like, and the people who won were like actually Mac Ayers fans.
Wow.
So that was super dope.
That's
so they
dope.
came, and we were all wearing the shirts in the crowd.
Yeah.
And then shout out Chris Anderson, because Chris Anderson was like the connect, and the whole reason that we wanted to give them desserts is because we listen to their music all the time in the bakery.
Yeah.
And I feel like that, like the energy that's in their music is also in our desserts. Like the vibe that we create, the sonic environment that we create.
Yeah.
That makes the desserts taste good. It might just, I don't know, it might be in my head, but I feel like, it makes me happy, and I think when you're vibing, having a good time, and making food for someone, that has an impact on it. So
yeah, for sure.
It was just like, I want to give back to y'all because you helped me to make my art, so I appreciate you.
That's
so
fire.
Yeah, Chris Anderson was really the connect, and I dropped off the stuff to him in Silver Spring. And it's crazy because, like, driving down there, I was like, they're not gonna want these shirts. Like, I'm literally like, this is so dumb. Like, they're not gonna wear these shirts. They're just not. Why would they want the shirts of like a random bakery in Boston? They're not coming to Baltimore that often. Like, this is nuts. And I was listening to a podcast episode at the time I was having those thoughts. Of Hidden Brain. It's my favorite podcast. And fire. It's like they talk about cognitive sciences and stuff like that. And they were
bag.
Saying,
I love
it. You gotta listen to it.
I have to listen to it now.
It's super dope. But the episode was about acts of kindness and how when you're committing an act of kindness, you always think that it's going to be an imposition on the recipient. Like, you, in your mind as the actor of kindness, like, you think, oh, they're going to be bothered by, whatever I'm trying to do for them.
Of course.
But then as the recipient of an act of kindness, you always have so much gratitude for anybody that decides to do something kind for you.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
So I was listening to that episode as I was having all these doubts about dropping off some of the desserts. I was like, no, it's cool. I'm going to give them the shirts, and
they'll love it.
I was like, at least, maybe they'll like wear it to bed. That's cool. That's fine.
I love a good bed shirt.
Pajamas. Shout out pajamas.
House lounging shirts. I love them, man. Love them.
Sunday shirt.
Shout out to Patterson High School. I did their prom. I wear their shirt
all
the time.
Did you go there?
Shout out. I did not go to Patterson at all. I went to Woodlawn.
That's amazing.
Shout out to Patterson. It was fine. That prom was crazy.
Hilarious.
The story with Mac Ayres doesn't stop there because you ended up giving him a personal birthday cake.
Yes.
And correct me if I'm wrong, it was like a 2-layer brownie?
Yes, and it had raspberry puree in it. Ooh, it's fire.
That sounded insane to me.
It was nuts. So we gave him all these treats, and then that was crazy because this was the Monday after Thanksgiving, last year, and my brother Khalid, he had invited me to go to Brooklyn to see this comedy show, and he was like, let's hit up Mac and Hannah and see if they want to come. And they were like, oh, we can't come. We're going to a concert. And we were like, what concert? And they were like, No Name. And we were like, bet, we're going to go to that concert.
I love No Name.
Right.
Who doesn't?
So we went to, and we were like, we're going to come up to the city early. Do you guys want to grab dinner? And they were like, sure. And this was it was maybe a week or two before Mac's birthday.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'm going to bring you guys something. And he loves brownies. He's a chocolate lover, and so I was like, all right,
I think we get along, Mac.
Yeah. And for the first time, I don't know why I haven't thought of this, but I just made it was a cake, but instead of cake, it was just brownie.
It's brownie, yeah.
Yeah, and it was covered in ganache. It was amazing. And I was like,
man.
we're gonna keep doing this. So yeah, and then we got dinner with them, and then went to the No Name concert, and then we hung out, and then we drove them home and met the cats, and
that's
it was
fire.
Crazy. It was again, it was a super surreal because I'm a stan, but we're also homies now.
Yeah, that's fire. I mean, who can say that has happened to them? I mean, this is
but the power
circle.
of manifestation, because
it's real.
2 years prior, I was when I first started getting into Mac's music and watching his interviews and stuff, I was like, he seems really cool. I want to be his friend. Yeah. That's it. I was like, yeah.
Manifested it.
And the whole band, it all seems, they're so talented.
Yeah.
I want to be their friends for real. And now, we're all homies.
That's
it's
fire.
Super dope.
And you're the homie that makes the fire cheesecakes.
I'm the homie that follows them and gives them desserts. That's it.
Everybody needs one of those homies. I need one of those homies.
And the coolest thing is that's evolved out of that is I do that with other artists now.
Yeah.
Whenever anybody comes to town that I like in that way, that I bump in the bakery, I just I reach out to their management. I'm like, hey, can I bring you desserts? Because your music inspires me to do what I do.
That's so fire.
And of course, they're always like, yes.
I mean, why would I say no?
Yeah.
It's probably the best cheesecake in the city, region, state.
That's right. Heard it here
Tri, quadruple state, whatever it is.
East Coast.
Right.
United States, whoever. I don't know. But either way, I think that's man, it's such a full circle moment, such a testament to manifestation, like you said, because, man, I don't know too many people who have that story. And I think, even you briefly mentioned comedy show.
Oh, yeah.
And you are now getting into stand-up comedy now. So, I mean,
I do stand up too.
I swear, I'm not even kidding. That's literally the next line in my notes, and I think she's reading from behind my computer.
No
the
way.
Notes. You it gotta be something. But you're now doing stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
What a transition.
What? How? Why?
I'm actually very curious. I mean, we had shout out to Ink. We had Wild Ink Boy in here. Hilarious interview. Hilarious guy. Hilarious guy. I'm playing the instrument. Hilarious interview. Hilarious guy. And I mean, his funny kind of it's infectious because I found myself making jokes in the interview. I'm pretty sure he's rubbed off. But how have you gotten inspired to get into comedy, and why now? Why comedy?
It was a total fluke. It was crazy. That day I had this event with Storybook Maze. Shout out Storybook Maze.
Big shout out.
She calls herself a radical street librarian, and so her mission is to bring books to kids that don't have books, and she focuses on getting books with minority characters in them, so kids can see themselves in the literature. And
that's dope.
Yeah, so she reached out to me. We did this event on late October or something, where I read the kids a story, one of my favorite stories, and then we decorated cupcakes. And after that, it was just a long day. So sometimes I live over near the Black Genius Art Show, I just stopped in there to like hang out with the guys there.
Why not?
And this dude, I was over there with Rod, and Bruce Daddy was in there. Shout out Bruce Daddy. And he was just like kicking. They were just chilling on the couch, and he was telling us like they were telling these insane, hilarious stories. And he was like, "What are you doing later? Like, you know, you seem cool. There's a comedy show around the corner at this tattoo shop." And I was like, "That's really random. What a random place for a comedy show."
Okay.
But I ain't doing nothing, and I'm kind of like, you know, today was kind of stressful, but cool. But yeah, I'm gonna slide.
Yeah,
and
for
so
sure.
I went there, and it was Ink's shop, Circa Ink.
Shout out Circa Ink.
Circa Ink, 119 West Saratoga Street.
Yep.
And yeah, I went there with my cousin, and it was just like an open mic, comedy open mic. All the guys there, everybody was so nice and like welcoming. I was like, this is cool. It's a very like intimate space.
Yeah.
And then we were talking. They were like, you know, so what's your story? And I was like, oh, I'm a business owner. I own this and blah blah blah. This is what I do. And me and Ink were talking business stuff, and then I was like telling him about the grants that I've won, and like he was like, oh, you know, I need some help with that. And I was like, hey, cool. So I swung by like the next day, and we were talking, and he was like, oh, you know, do you want to come to this comedy show at Motor House on Wednesdays? They just open mic there too.
Open mic, yeah.
And so I went there, and I didn't perform, but like all the same crew from Monday was there. And at the end of the night, they were like, yeah, so when are you getting on stage? And I was like,
I'm not a comedian.
Hey, I was like, what makes you think and they were like, no, you're just like, you're confident, like you carry yourself with confidence, and I feel like you would be good on stage. Like, I was like, I'm situationally funny. I don't have like jokes for real. And they're like, no, you'll be fine. You got jokes in there. You just gotta like work on it.
Yeah, for sure.
And so then the next Monday, they're like, yeah, you're gonna get on stage, and like they put my name on the list. I went first.
Ooh.
And yeah.
Show opener.
Yes, they always do that to the rookies. Like, crazy.
God.
But no, I crushed it, and
that's fire.
Yeah, and so like I've developed this comedy style. It's very, very dark. It's clean. It's completely clean.
Dark comedy is
very
hilarious.
dark. Very dark humor. You know, so just be prepared. If you want. People ask me sometimes like, "Oh, where can I see you perform?" And I'm like, I don't know. Like, depending on the person. I don't know. I don't want you to see me in that way. You know? That's like that's Maya after dark.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You got an alter ego.
Exactly.
I bake cheesecakes in the morning and I tell dirty jokes at night. That's hilarious.
But
that's
so Ink is like, you know, we just kind of riff off of each other, and we have like our conversations are just insane and hilarious. And we'll be like, yeah, you got to put that in your set. Whatever.
Write that down right now.
Literally, like,
write that down.
We have iPhone notes where, you know, we just write jokes that come to us and stuff like that.
I can only imagine what that note looks like. It's probably insane.
It is. It's like so dumb.
No, but that's so fire. I mean, speaking of, you know, just new things and, you know, coming in the future, like what, you know, as we come to a close, I don't want this to end, but as we come to a close, you know, what is next for like Codetta Bake Shop and for you? I mean, can we get like a brunch possibility? I mean, I hear you make a great quiche Lorraine.
I do.
You know.
Yes, I do.
I mean, but what can we expect? I mean, from the next year, next 5 years? I know the wheels are always turning in your mind about the next steps.
I definitely have like a long-term plan in this noggin of mine.
For sure.
So yeah, we have an event coming up. First of all, I don't know when this episode is going to drop, but we got an event
soon, very soon.
Okay, cool. We got an event called the Cookout. It's going to be August 10th. And
it'll be out before then.
I bet. Cool.
August 10th, tap in.
The Cookout, and it's like a black vendor fair, basically. Slash festival. We're gonna have performances. We do a panel discussion.
Fire.
We have a community art piece. We got spoken word, musical performances. We had a step team last year. Yeah, just like a really cool vibey day. It's in Center Plaza downtown. I checked the schedule. There's no other crazy big events going on in the city, so traffic shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah.
There's parking on site.
Fire.
It's completely free, open to the public, all ages, family friendly.
Fire.
And so, my bakery is really just a vessel for connection. That's kind of how I see it. Like, I bake, yes. I bake good stuff, and I love eating, I love food, I love feeding people.
Yeah.
But really, for me, it's about connection, and it's about building community. So we do events like this. We had an event called Black Girl Market that we've done a few times.
It's all black women vendors there. Right?
Yeah. So the Cookout actually is like an offshoot of that. So the Cookout is like the same format, but like niggas can come too. You know, niggas can sell this.
I love coming to things.
Right, exactly. And so even that, like, I want it to get to a level where like it's just a celebration of culture and of people who are doing amazing things in the city.
Yeah, for sure.
As someone who's like, I've done vending events, and like I don't like. There's a certain ethos that I have about organizing something like this, right?
Sure,
like we keep the vendor fees as low as possible so that it's accessible not only to people who are like, you know, seasoned in the game, but people who want to like get their name out there.
For sure.
And we
100%.
try to invite different levels of business owners and people to highlight them. So like if you are just starting out, you can get a spot and be right next to somebody who's been doing it for years. So now you're benefiting from the traffic that they have already built, and you know, and their brand recognition.
That's fire.
And you can get some of that too.
That's fire.
So yeah, we have that going on. We're building out our space, which is on the corner of Baltimore and Howard Streets.
Can't wait.
Downtown. Yes, I can't wait either. Lord have mercy. And it's a long process. We're currently we're trying to get some more funding because they gave us an updated budget a couple months ago, and it's astronomical. But it's like when we make this happen, God willing, it's going to be something that the city has never seen, but so desperately needs.
Absolutely.
So shout out our GoFundMe. We have a GoFundMe.
Big shout out.
Yes,
to GoFundMe.
Please just take a minute, take $1.
And put that down.
Yes, and there are deliverables. GoFundMe. Right there. Boom.
Now I gotta do like an effect.
Yes.
You're making my job hard.
Dana White.
Thank you for sure.
But yeah, so and the new space is going to be what you'll be supporting when you donate to the GoFundMe.
Again, there's another one. There's another one.
Is you know, it's going to be a full-service eat-in bakery cafe. So, yes, we'll have brunch.
Oh, I can't wait.
We're going to do all-day brunch on the weekends. Like 11 to 6 brunch. So, you don't really got to wake up, like, super early. You can roll out of bed at 2 and still come to brunch.
Oh, my God.
Take your time. Come to brunch. And then breakfast and lunch during the week. Of course, desserts and drinks all the time.
Oh, 100%.
And then we're going to have a very robust calendar of cultural performances and things like that. Like, comedy, spoken word, music. We have a stage in the plans. Speaker series, workshops. We're gonna have some gallery space for visual artists. We'll have like rotating installations in there too. I'm gonna commission some artwork. I've already like talked to a lot of my visual artist friends about the artwork I want to commission from them. Yeah. And it's so super dope. I can't wait to bring all these collaborations to life.
Yeah.
Like, I have some exclusive brand collabs that we're going to do, like a hat that from the Black Genius Art Show that's in our colorway. We are working on a shirt from Baltimore with Love that's going to be in our colorway. We're actually doing an event with them next week too.
Fire, man.
So we'll have pop-up space for other businesses to come in and just kind of do their thing, and I'm not going to charge them. It's just like, hey, come in and sell your stuff
That's so dope.
to our audience. So yeah, I really want it to be a community hub and
that's
just
so
like a
dope.
Place where whatever you're into, you can find it at Codetta.
Yeah, man, that's so dope.
Thank you.
I don't know how many. My dope counter is probably like enough to kill a block right now. But I mean, I'm just so happy to hear all of the things you have in store. And man, I'm excited. I mean, it's crazy because I will be there at the Nuke stuff, but I'm gonna try this trust cake. Hey, where is it? It's behind me. It's over there. Don't worry about it. We're going to cut it in before the end of this. But man, I'm just super, super happy for all of the things you're doing, all the things you're going to do. And I mean, man, like you heard it first. Like Sumayyah Bilal is in the building. Codetta Big Shop. Man, always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's
This
nice.
is. Oh yeah, of course. I love hugs. I'm a hugger.
Hugs love me too.
I never get to hug people in my interviews. This is the first. That's my first hug in an interview. I love that. That's what you just got it first.
Yes.
So one more time, can you tell the people where to follow you and where to find all the delicious, delectable treats?
Yes. So Codetta Bake Shop on all social media. Codetta BAKESHOP.
Boom.
You can go to our website, CodettaBakeShop.com, to place a custom order. 2-week lead time. Or if you need something like immediately that week, we're open Friday and Saturday for retail from 2 to 6. And you can go to getCodettaBakeShop.com for your immediate dessert needs. You can support our GoFundMe using this.
There's another one.
Right, I'm being a white on. Right there.
Oh man.
Yes, literally any little bit helps. There are deliverables too. Like I can't wait to see who's gonna get like the black card and the teal card because it's like there's a one of the deliverables is like a free dessert on every visit for a year, and then one is a free dessert every visit for life.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know who's gonna get that, but
I'm about to just buy everything.
Exactly.
That's
so
fire.
yes, and yeah, follow us on socials. Sumayyah Bilal is my personal page, which is basically my Finsta right now for real. But it's like my comedy page too. So, yeah. So
all right, bet.
check
Okay.
us out. And just I'll be around town. If you see me, say hi, and I will engage. I might not remember your name, but don't hold it against me, please.
Oh man, no, I'm the same way. I remember faces though.
Yes,
I remember
exactly.
faces. I definitely remember faces. But I appreciate you for coming out, and I just look forward to more sweets, more business moves.
Now I know where to find you.
Yeah, now you know.
Just pull
You're
up.
right next to the bunch out.
Yeah,
Like,
just put some cupcakes in the vending
yeah,
machine.
now I'm gonna know who it was. I mean, it's fine. I cannot wait to see everything you got in store. And us at Vibe Studios, us at Ground 3, sure, of course, myself, Mike on the mic. I will definitely be rooting for you, and I'm looking forward to everything. And I'll leave you before you leave with a short, sacred Baltimore proverb, and that is, keep doing what you're doing. Boom. Once again, it's your boy Mike on the mic from the Vibe Perspective Podcast. Tap in with my guys at Ground 3 Radio. DJ OK. Make sure you call in at 443-377-1872. Again, that number is 443-377-1872. Leave a message about Sumayyah, Codetta Bake Shop, like anything you like. Whatever the best pastry you've seen her make on Instagram that looks insane, that makes you salivate in the mouth when you watch it. Anything you would like, the door is open, the floor is open. Next interview is coming up soon, and keep it locked for Vibe Studios and Ground 3, man. Let's keep the vibe alive, man. Peace. We out of here. Peace. Yo, what it do, family? It's your favorite host, Mike on the mic. We are here at Ground 3 Media, Ground 3 Radio. Shout out to Vibe Studios, man. I am ecstatic. I'm so happy and so excited to be experiencing what I'm about to experience right now. This is insane. Codetta Bake Shop. Shout out to Sumayyah Bilal behind the camera. Big camera over. Man, she was so gracious enough to drop 2 of her best-selling items here before her interview. We just finished the interview. Go check that out. Go tap in. You know what I'm saying? This is the cheesecake. This is the tres leches cake. She didn't even know. Tres leches is my favorite cake.
Yes.
It's my legitimate favorite cake. I'm not even gonna lie to you. The level of excitement I have in my soul, body, existence right now is crazy. Like I can't even talk about it. I
You've been waiting this whole interview.
I had nothing to say. All right, here we go.
With desperation.
Here we go. Okay. I don't know if y'all can see it. Like, look at that, man. The quality.
The moisture.
This is special.
Thank you.
This is special. This is not making it to the car. I'm telling you right now.
And then like another customer that was there convinced him to get a slice.
Yeah.
And I was like, can you taste it? He was like, oh, I love cheesecake. I was like, can you taste it? And he tasted it. He was like, what's in this? Heroin?
Literally.
So this
is it crack cocaine you put in here?
Oh my ganache.
Yeah, that's what it's called. It's a classic, our Codetta classic cheesecake, and then it's topped with chocolate ganache. And
The recipe is decades in the making of this cheesecake.
That's right.
All right.
Decades.
You might convert me on this too, because
You know,
Oh my god.
I love cheesecake,
And
but
I love chocolate.
I've only had, I've had baked cheesecake, and I just wasn't a fan.
Mm-hmm.
Something about it being put in the oven just didn't see it. But we're here, and I'm ready. And I'm ready. So bring yourself over so I can taste it.
You look
Oh my
cute.
god.
I think what you mean is, oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
gosh.
Oh my gosh.
What the? Yo, I'm about to swear.
Come on.
Big shop, yes.
If you don't have one of these in your hand at least once a week, maybe twice, maybe 3 times a week, you're dead wrong. And
That's
I'm
right.
not judging you from now on. I'm telling you. Mike on the mic and Vibe Studios, we snap this and approve. Gotta go get it. Fire. Crazy. Crazy.
What's up, y'all? It's Maya, executive chef of Codetta Bake Shop, and we're here at Ground 3 Media, rocking with Mike on the mic.